Hi, welcome to untamedgirlspodcast. I'm your host, Adeline, and today I'm recording an episode by myself, so it's kind of just Untamed Girl podcast. I just recorded an episode with this tiny little microphone, but I kept it on my fingers and kept touching it, and the audio is so bad. It's like 50 minutes of recording, so kind of sucks because I have to do it all over again. But today I'm kind of going to be talking about how to be confident and how to I don't know, how to be confident and kind of how to love yourself, which is kind of weird coming from a 17-year-old girl. But I've been reading this book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective Teens, and it's taught me a lot. And I just kind of wanted to share with the world what I've learned. Obviously, you can just go read the book, but not a lot of people like to read, so I thought I could just tell you. I shouldn't have done that. I probably shouldn't have tapped that. This is just kind of fun. I know the only people who are probably going to be watching this are people from my school, so hey, nice to meet you. Well, not nice to meet you. How you going? How you going? How's it going? How's life? Isn't it crazy what happened in school? um. Also, as I said, this is called Untamed Girls Podcast. I'm gonna make this with all my friends, but I've been really trying to get a podcast episode out because this is my capstone project and weird episode because I'm by myself and talking about mental health, which is a little bit weird for what I want this podcast to be, but I just want to talk to you guys, get to know you, say hi. So that's what we're doing today. I'm just gonna get into this because I don't know how to do transitions. The first point, I have my computer here with all my notes because I'm recording on my phone because I'm not a professional. So I said these little mics. They're so cute. I love them. They're so adorable. But anyways, I'm just gonna get right into it. And my first point is to stop hating yourself. Which I know sounds crazy and out there and how you're just telling me to stop hating myself. I don't that's I don't know how to do that. Sorry, I'm itchy. You can probably see me scratching. This is so all over the place. I'm so excited to get bullied at school for this. Anyways, I don't I do understand why people hate themselves, but what did you do that hurt you so much to hate yourself? Like I'm not a very hateful person, so I can only speak from personal experience, obviously. But there's very few people I hate, and they really hurt me. So, and I've never done something that deserves so much hate. You know what I mean? If someone treated me the way that I treat myself, I would hate them too. But you get to choose how you treat yourself. So you need to start to understand that you have a relationship with yourself. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people understand that you have a relationship with yourself the way that you have a relationship with everyone, romantic or friendship. You have a relationship with yourself and your self-esteem and all these things, and you need to understand that to help improve yourself. I actually need some of this aquaphor. That's so fun. What was I saying? Oh, also, if you hate yourself because of your physical appearance, I would just like to say I've never seen someone as ugly. like i I really don't. I don't understand how someone could go up to someone and be like, "You're ugly," because I truly don't see that. And I think most people see people that way. Maybe not guys, but I think most girls see people that way. No one is truly ugly. I couldn't understand how someone could be unless you're really mean. And the only way I can really prove this is by showing you how you think about people. I personally have never thought about the way someone looked in a swimsuit or a tank top or in shorts for maybe more than 8 hours max after I see them. And if I am, it's not because I'm thinking about how ugly they looked. I'm thinking about how good they looked and how amazing their outfit was. I'm never thinking about the way someone looks more than maybe 5 minutes. I'm always looking at how they present themselves and maybe their outfit or their makeup or their jewelry. But I'm never looking, besides maybe Bella Hadid, I think about quite a bit, but I never think about the way your nose is crooked or the way that your one eye is bigger than the other. No one's paying attention to that. And I recently heard the statistics on why women are okay. First of all, he started it by saying why women are worse than men. I was like, this is about to get my blood boiling. And he's like, women look at themselves a million times a month when men only look at themselves like 2,000 times a month. And as a woman, you're going up to mirrors super close and looking at every single pore in your face and every single imperfection, thinking that everyone else is doing that too. So, you know how people say, or treat others the way you want to be treated? Treat yourself the way that you treat other people. Does that make sense? Like, if you're super nice to people and you're not inspecting people and the way they look and you're not calling people ugly, you shouldn't be doing the same to yourself. Obviously, if you're calling people ugly and constantly looking at the way they look, like there's something else going on and I don't know how to help you. You kind of just have to fake it till you make it. Like, I understand mean people because I kind of was, I'm gonna say it, I was kind of a bitch. Let's be honest here. But I just, it's just because that's how everyone else kind of was around me. Like, I thought that was the only way you could act to get people to like you, kind of in a way. Because when you're younger, like 5 to grade 7, you know how like in movies, how like the mean girls are the popular girls? That's only happens from grade 5 to grade 7 because like you don't understand society yet. But after that, the popular people are the people that people want to be around. And people aren't going to be around want to be around you if you're being ugly and like not like physically ugly, but like the way you're treating people. Like, okay, I was thinking about this concept and then watched Madeline. I'm gonna mess up her last name. Madeline Klein. I don't know, the one that's dating Central C. And she talked about this poem, and I was thinking about it before I saw that, and I was like, that's a perfect poem. And it was like, I don't remember exactly how it was, but it's like um people who say ugly things can only be ugly. Even if they have perfect white teeth and like perfect eyes, all their ugliness comes into their face and they look ugly. But a beautiful person, no matter how crooked their nose, crooked their eyes, the beautifulness pours out of their face and they're just beautiful no matter what. Something like that. And that's so true. Because have you ever wanted to be around someone who's mean and negative to you? No. Even if you are hanging around some people like that, because there's a couple friends that I need to kind of distance myself from because they've been really negative and really rude lately. Even if you are around them, you don't want to be though. And I think you have to think about that for the way you treat people as well. Like, I don't want this to be like, oh, this is how you be popular and stuff, because, sorry, my feet, because that's not what I want this to be. But you have to be kind to others and kind to yourself. Does that make sense? To be confident, because also if you are a mean person, like I said, you fake it till you make it. That works with everything. It works with confidence, it works with knowledge, it works with kindness. Like last year in grade 11, I wasn't faking being kind, but I was being overly nice. Like I was being nice, more nice than I like would have been if I was just being myself. Does that make sense? Like I was being overly nice and making sure everyone heard, which I normally do, but I was just doing it a lot more than normal. I was basically faking kindness until I became a kind person. Wow, that makes me sound like I was really that makes me sound like I was really mean, but I wasn't that mean. But it's amazing because I created some of the most meaningful relationships I ever had in my grade 11 year with grade 12s and with teachers and all this because I was had rainbows coming out of my ass. Like that's the best way you can make it make sense. And even if you're like, well, I don't like people. Like I don't want to be around people. I'm an introvert. Like I'd rather just be alone. Like I want to be by myself. Like I don't want people to be around me. It's amazing how relationships help you improve yourself and throughout your life. Like I don't know if I'm allowed to say teachers' names on the internet, but there's this one teacher and he's super nice and I love him very much. And he saw how nice and how amazing and how confident and like beautiful, but not like physically, like mentally and all that I was being, and decided to like give me opportunities that I would nowhere have gotten before. Like this sounds so stupid, but I'm part of the grad committee, which helps like organize everything for the grade 12s and all that. And like nowhere in a million years would I have gotten that offer if I was being mean all the time. And because I'm not a part of student council or anything like that. I do help with student council and stuff like that, but like I'm not a part of it. I've never made any big contributions to the school, truly. But he saw the potential I had based on how I was treating people and gave me the opportunity to do these amazing things. And it's great. So, yeah, that's kind of all I have for hate, like, in your hating yourself thing. It's amazing how your world changes once you start looking at yourself and others in different ways. My next point is stop lying to yourself. The best way, I also got this. Oh, did I say that I was reading the seven? Sorry, I literally just recorded this exact episode 5 minutes ago, and I was watching it back, and the quality of the sound was terrible. So now I'm re-recording it. But I think I already said that I was reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. If I didn't, I'm reading this book, and it's really good. I think I did, and I said that's why. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Part of in that book, it says stop lying to yourself, and you're like, what does that mean? Like, I don't lie to myself. I don't like when you hear that, or at least when I heard that, I thought about big lies that like you tell when you're a kid, like, no, I didn't steal the sugar. Like you don't lie to yourself like that, but if you want to be more active, you're like, well, when I get home I'm gonna go for a run, and then you don't go for a run, that's lying to yourself. And the best way, sorry, my lips are really crusty from talking so much. The best way I can describe this is if you have a friend and they're constantly telling you little lies like, oh, we're gonna hang out at lunch, and yes, I want to hang out with you, and oh, let's do this, and blah 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 blah, and they just never follow through with it, you slowly start to dissipate that relationship. Even if they treat you amazingly, but they're telling you these little lies, that relationship starts to deteriorate. And a big part of being confident, this sounds okay. I sound like a self-help, and I think it's kind of funny because I'm like 17 and like, what do I know? But a big part of being confident and like mental health is learning that you have a relationship with yourself, and you need to treat it how you would treat any other relationship with anyone else. Like, don't tell yourself little lies, even if they're little white lies, like what you did wasn't that bad. If it was that bad, tell yourself that. Like, you shouldn't have done that, and things like that. You know what I mean? So, like, if you tell yourself, like, oh, I'm gonna go for a run when I get home, you have to go for a run when you get home. Even if it's like 2 seconds of jogging, you're still fulfilling that promise that you made to yourself and improving your relationship. I really need to eat food. It's 7 o'clock at night. Oh my god. Um, oh, you deserve way more than the basics. You know what I mean? Like, when you start to go into a rotting episode or a depressive episode, you stop taking care of yourself, like your basic needs. Um, Stop taking care of your basic needs, like brushing your teeth and like showering. And like you start to think like, oh, you don't deserve these things and stuff like that. But you do. You deserve to like be happy. You deserve to like get home and go on your computer and watch YouTube for like 2 hours and just like go to sleep. You deserve that. You deserve to feel beautiful. You deserve to buy that expensive thing. You deserve to stop being friends with people who are putting you down. You deserve more than just being alive. Like, you deserve to be a human. And I don't want to say I struggled with that in the past, because it wasn't something like one of my main struggles, but I did feel like I didn't deserve everything that everyone else was getting around me. Like, people would be getting these great opportunities. I'm like, well, I don't deserve that because like I didn't do any of this, and like I didn't feel like I deserved the achievements that I've been doing, because like math is really easy for me, and I really love math because it's like little puzzles to me. And I would get good grades, and I'd be like, well, I didn't deserve this. Like, I didn't study as much as she did, and she got like lower than me. Like, I don't deserve this. But you do. If you, I don't want to explain this. I sound so repetitive, but you deserve more than just waking up and going through the motions of the day. You deserve to be happy. And there's a lot of understanding that what people are telling you isn't just bullshit. Like, I'm not bullshitting you right now. Like, these are things that will actually help you, and you need to actually implicate them into your life to understand and see changes. To understand changes? Yeah, to understand and see changes in your life. Because if you're like, no matter how much someone tells you you're beautiful, but you don't believe it, you're like, well, no, it's a lie because I have giant ears. You're never going to feel beautiful. So if someone keeps telling you the tips on how to be mental health, how to be mentally healthy, and you're just like, well, that's bullshit. Like, I don't believe that. Like, that's what everyone says. Then it's not gonna work. Like, if you're going through the motions and don't believe in them, nothing's gonna happen. I don't know. This says, how are people making their opinion of you? Which you shouldn't really be caring about people's opinions, to be honest, but you should be caring about the way you treat people. Does that make sense? Because, like, if you're being a really shitty friend and you're thinking about how they're feeling about you, like your friend, you should be feeling that. You should be thinking about that, but you shouldn't be thinking about, like, this. Like, I'm making this podcast right now, and I don't care about anyone's opinions because I want to do this and I want to be happy. But if I'm telling someone that they're bad and like evil and like they suck, and I should be caring about how they're thinking about what I've said to them. Does that make sense? Like, like I said, relationships are very complicated. Friendship, romantic, parents, grandparents, coworkers, teachers, they're very complicated. And you also need to understand when to cut people out of your life because if someone's holding you back, like I have a thing written down here saying cut people out who are keeping you in 2023 because it's 2024 right now. Because I have a couple people in my life who I've been friends for a while and I feel like they're stuck from when we were friends and like being children and like being younger, and they're holding me back from growing and maturing, and you need to understand that it's okay to let them go and maybe spread some distance. Obviously, if you feel like you're done with a relationship, not in a messy way, you just feel like you're done and you want to move on, you don't need to treat that person badly to move on. To end a relationship, it doesn't need to be messy. And every time I say relationship, I'm not meaning romantic. Like, you could take it in that way, but I also mean any relationship that's out there. Like your relationship with your mother. Not maybe your mother. Maybe don't cut your mom out of your life. She tries hard. But also, like, it's hard to explain. Because I don't want to be like cut negative people out of your life because a lot of parents are pretty negative. Let's be honest. Parents kind of suck. But we also have to understand, especially I'm an only child, so you have to understand that they're trying. And your parents probably love you more than anything they've ever loved in their life. And you need to understand that they are trying. But also, if you're in an abusive relationship, like mentally, physically, you need to leave. Like, if you're being hurt, you should probably set some distance, which I kind of need to take for myself. There's a lot of relationships that I'm in that that I'm being very hurt in, and I need to distance myself from them. That also brings on to my point that, if someone's nice to you, like your friend or like some random person is being really nice to you, obviously you want to be around them. They're super nice, they're super sweet, but then they're super rude to like other people. I don't like that personally. I don't understand why someone would do that. Because, again, I have a friend and they're super nice to me and super sweet and super kind and confidently, constantly offer me things. And I'm like, wow, this is so nice. And then they'll be so rude to the people around them. And I'm like, especially if someone's rude. Sorry, my voice cracked a little there. But especially if someone's being rude to their parents, I see that as the biggest red flag. But also, like, you don't really understand what's going on in their home life. But if you're telling your parents by their names, I think that's a red flag in my opinion. Because I call my mom mommy, and I don't care if that's weird. She's an amazing woman, and I love her. So I will call her whatever I want. So yee, I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, you need to be in relationships with people the same way that you want yourself to think about yourself. Like, being in a negative relationship is worse than hating yourself. Because I'm really scared of cutting people in my life because something happened in grade 10 with this girl. And she was so mean. She made me question if it was worth living in this world because I felt so worthless around her. And the breakup, it was my friend, but the breakup, that's what I'm gonna call it. I don't know what else to call it. The end of the friendship was kind of messy. I was kind of like, hey, you're kind of evil. I don't really want to be around you. That's not how I said it, but I said it nicer. Then I kind of messed up and posted something on a private story afterwards. So it's kind of like, yeah, I just want some distance, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, that's fine because I have other friends. And I was like, okay, bye. And then afterwards, I posted something on my private story and be like, just got rid of a friend who wants to fill the slot. That's kind of a joke, but whatever. It really hurt her feelings and stuff like that. And then afterwards, my school's super small, so it exploded. And I don't know why the teachers and principal felt the need to get into our problems, but they did. And she was like, I don't want to say homie hopping, but she was hopping through every friend group in our school. And me, like my friend group at the time was the last one, and we're like, ew. So we pushed her out. And yeah. So everyone was like, oh, she sucks and all these things. And then I don't know how it happened, but it got sent to the principal's office. Like it got sent up to our principal. We had this big discussion, and I was accused of bullying someone in the past. If you go to my school, come ask me about this because I'll tell you who was accusing me of bullying them, and you're gonna be like, for real? And yeah, but I wasn't bullying them. I was just matching their energy. I could have been nicer. I was being very reactive. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I was already getting in a lot of trouble for bullying people, and they're like, if you do this again, you're kicked out of the school. So I was like, yo, I'm not bullying this girl. This is what she said to me and the people around me, and this is what she said behind people's back, and blank, 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 blank. And then she ended up leaving the school. And yeah, so it was just super messy and super scary, and now I'm terrified of trying to get people out of my life because I don't want that to happen again. I've been talking for an hour straight. My jaw is so sore. Proactive and reactive. So, one second. I need to drink some water because I'm tired. Proactive and reactive people. So this came from the Seven Habits of Highly Effective Teens book, but I don't think proactive is the right word to use because when you're being proactive, you're like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's the right word, but I don't know what word to replace it with. So basically, the concept is, are you reacting to situations in your life, or are you being proactive? And an example that really like helped me get this in my brain was if you're driving, obviously this doesn't apply if you're under 16, but if you're driving and someone cuts you off and you're honking and flipping them off and like riding them, like tailgating them, that's being reactive. But being proactive is like giving them room after they cut you off and letting it go and then not thinking about it for the rest of the day. That's being oh, that was a good one. Proactive. Like if someone says something mean to you and you start chewing them out and like matching their energy, that's being reactive. Being proactive is letting them make the comments and just moving on and not letting it affect you, because what other people do shouldn't be like, you shouldn't let it affect you. Another part of that book was like these circles, and the bigger circle was things you can't change, like your skin color, the weather, the way people react to things, stuff like that. And then things you can change, like how you react to people, your attitude, how you talk to people. And you need to set boundaries between what you can do and what's happening to you. Like, it's hard to explain. If someone says something mean to you, if you feel like being reactive, the best way to stop yourself is ask them, what did they say? Not in a mean way. If they're like, you're an idiot, and you're like, what did you say? Not like that. If they're like, you're an idiot, you're like, sorry, what did you say? Like, I didn't catch that last part. It'll make them rethink. I saw this on TikTok, so if you saw this too, yeah. But it makes them rethink what they're saying and how they're treating you, because how they're treating you is a reflection on how they're treating themselves. And I know how like you're always told if someone's being mean to you, they're because they're jealous. And I don't really believe that. If they're being mean to you, it's just a reflection on how they're feeling in their life and how unconfident they are in their situation. Which also, when someone's being mean to you, especially at the beginning of your mental health journey, you might need to justify why, but towards like the middle and the end, you should just let people be them. And actually, I went to therapy and I learned this really neat trick, and I'm gonna tell you about it. But basically, you pretend you're in a tube. In the tube, it's as big as you want. You don't need to be cramped, but you're in a tube, and it goes from the ceiling to the floor. And in that tube is your emotions, and you need to pick a color for your emotions. I only do this when I feel like three emotions. So I have anxious, which is yellow, I have angry, which is red, and then I have calm, which is gray. So I start to feel anxious. My entire tube is going yellow, and I'm feeling yellow. And then you just take a second and breathe in the yellow and let out the gray and help calm the air in your tube. I hope that makes sense. I hope that doesn't sound stupid, but it really helps me. So everyone has their tube, and say this person is yelling at you and they're turning red because they're angry, and you're starting to turn yellow because you're anxious, and that red's starting to seep into your eyes. So you have to remember that you're in your tube and that their air isn't affecting you. I hope that makes sense. It's really helpful for me. So I really want to share this with you, but like I'm not great at explaining things. But basically, yeah, how someone else is reacting and their emotions should not affect you, which is really hard. I know. I still get affected by other people's emotions, but it takes a lot more for me now. It really takes like 24 hours of just straight digging me out to really get me going now. Like I think my people at my school have only seen me angry twice in my entire time of going there, and I've been going there since grade 5, and I'm in grade 12 now. So, yay. Sorry, I need to look some up. I need to look up what I wrote down. Oh, look good, do good. Or look good, feel good. If you got drunk and you're hungover and you're slept in your makeup and you haven't washed your hair in 3 weeks and you go to school and you don't look good, you're not going to feel good. You're not going to do good. You're constantly going to feel like people are judging you. You're constantly going to feel like you're constantly going to be thinking about the way you look in your hair. Like, you're not going to be doing good. But if you do something simple like wash your face and brush your teeth, you're going to feel better. If you put on new socks, you're going to feel better about how you are. If you do something simple that no one else is going to notice, it will still help you feel better. Like, I wear like this necklace every time I'm kind of need a little confidence boost, and I love it. So it helps me look good and feel good. Does that make sense? Like, not that you need to look beautiful to do amazing things, because you don't. Some of the most amazing people I know, I don't want to say aren't beautiful because I said like they're not super ugly, but like I mean, I've never seen like an ugly person before. But beauty doesn't equal success unless you're like a model. Then maybe yeah, beauty equals success. But you're also not a model. Like I don't know how to describe it. I don't think about the way people look more than an hour maybe after looking at them. So why are you constantly thinking about the way that you look? Like the best way to get more confident is to treat yourself the way you're treating other people and to look at yourself the way you're looking at other people, unless it's like negative. If you're mean and look badly at other and you're like you're uglier than me, so like I'm better, this video doesn't apply to you. Like I don't know really how to help you because yeah. I don't know how to help you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like every time someone says an insult or every time you say an insult to someone else, picture that person sees you uglier. They'll start to notice those imperfections that you're insecure of. And I don't want to, like, that's the best way I can describe it. And I'm just a 17-year-old girl. Like, I'm trying my best to be positive, but you'll get, like, a slash over your face and you'll just become uglier and uglier. And that's so true because there's this one girl, and I thought she was the coolest, most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, wow, she's so cool. I want to be friends with her. And the more I got to know her, the more rude and like arrogant and like hateful she became. And now I think she's like one of the most ugly people I've ever met. Like I don't see her the same at all. Like they're two completely different people in my head that I once knew. And it's crazy because I hope no one thinks that way about me. And oh, that's a lot of aquaphor. And I hope and I don't yeah. Don't ever treat people terribly. No matter how beautiful you are, because it will make you ugly. Back to my notes. Oh, don't stay in a relationship again, friendship or romantic relationship, expecting someone to change. Like I just talked about that person. Like she is really sweet and she is really nice, but sometimes she's just evil. And I'm thinking about just backing away because it's toxic. it's hot and cold all the time, and it's so draining having to predict what I have to say to her. And you shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around people. And there is some people in my life where I've stayed around for so long where I was going around on eggshells. Now I'm not. But yeah, you just you're allowed to take a break from a relationship and then come back to it once the person has changed. You don't have to wait throughout the entire abuse and ridicule that you're being told just because you hope this person's going to change one day. Like, it's okay to leave a relationship, and it's good if it's negative, because if they stay that, you can just stay away, and they get worse and they get worse. But my hair's so shiny. But if they get better, you're allowed to go back. Especially if you should never have a messy you should never be the reason that the end of a relationship is messy. You should always try to leave people with the best impression of yourself, because you never know. And I don't want to say this because I don't want people to think that you talk behind people's backs, but you never know who someone's going to tell something. Because that girl that I was just talking about told one of my best friends something really mean about me, and then she told me. And I'm like, why would you tell her? Like, you knew that was going to happen. Yes. Oh, toxically falling in love. Sorry, I just saw this, and this isn't in the same section. I really want to talk about this though, because every time I've had like a crush on someone, I don't mean to scare you, because it's really obvious when I have a crush on someone, but every time I have a crush on someone, I fall in love. Even if it's not a crush, like a romantic crush, even if I'm just obsessing over someone, I fall in love. And this applies to a lot of things, like celebrities even. Like truly in love. Ooh, sorry. Like truly in love. Like Billie Eilish, my dog. Like, I was truly in love with him. Not like romantically, but I did. And my grandpa. And it's really hard because obviously my dog and my grandpa are special cases because they were part of my family and you're allowed to love them. But if I get into a relationship with you, again, not only romantically, any type, I will fall in love with you no matter what. And sometimes romantically, like if I have a crush on you, but like I'm in love. And every time you hurt me, it hurts more than I think a normal person. Because I've talked to people about this and they're like, no, that's like crazy. Like, you feel that way about every single person. I'm like, yeah, it kind of sucks. But it's also kind of amazing because I grow such strong connections. I don't know. It's, I just, people are always like, oh, you have the biggest heart. It's so amazing. But that's one of the negatives that come with it. I wonder if you can hear me swallow every time I swallow, because I can hear me swallow every time I swallow, and it's kind of annoying. Oh, I don't understand why people are so mean. I need to lay down. My back is hurting. But I don't understand what could go so bad. They're so mean. Like, when I went through like my mean girl phase, it wasn't even that mean. Compared to like what these people are doing, it's ridiculous. And especially if I've never done anything to you, like there's some people that I understand. Like, I've hurt you so much that you need to hurt me back. I kind of understand that. But I've done absolutely nothing to some of these people, and they're so mean. And again, it's just a reflection on how they're feeling about themselves, but it's terrible. And that's just another reason to help heal yourself in your self relationship, because it's hurting the people around you, and you don't want to be doing that. Unless you do, and then there's other problems if you want to be hurting people around you. Look at the green light. Yeah. Also, people never forget how they feel mentally. Like, people forget how they feel physically all the time. Like, if you think about scraping your knee, you can't visualize how that felt, but you can visualize how upset you were when you scraped your knee when you were 5. Like, you can feel the emotions. And that's just like another reason to treat people well, because they will always remember how they felt when you put them down in the moments. Like, going back to people aren't ugly is like, I never think about people's looks for over an hour, like I said, but I never go to a pool and then think about people for 24 hours afterwards. And like during the summer, I'm never looking at someone. God, I forgot what I've said in this. God damn it. Oh, it's so hard recording back to back things because the audio was bad. But the only time I remember what someone was looked like or said or like anything is when they say something mean to me and put me down. Like I'll remember that. Or when someone notices something really small about me, like they're like, "Oh, your earrings look really nice today." Like I'll remember that. Sorry, my nose. Oh, I'll remember that. Yes, but I don't remember her. Well, I do remember how you look, but I don't um not fantasize. Fixate on how you look. Like I'm never like, ooh, that girl's nose, her bump in it is so ugly. Like, no, no one's thinking like that. I promise. And also, you have to stop thinking about people's opinions of you. Like this, I'm making this little podcast. I have to stop thinking about what people are gonna say. And I know I just started this by being like, everyone from my school's gonna watch this, but I'm sorry, but if you hate me or something and you're judging me right now, we're at raw edit, we're at 38 minutes in and you're still watching this hating on me. What's wrong with you? Like if I'm that annoying and like you don't like me and like sorry, my jaw really hurts. And like you're hating on me and whispering to your friends. This has been 38 minutes of me just talking. Like you have to be obsessed. You know what I mean? Like people people aren't going to fixate on what you're doing unless they're enjoying what you're doing. Like on TikTok, all the famous people are people who people enjoy watching. Does that make sense? Like no one's famous because people are annoyed and like don't like the person. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. My brain's all over the place. But did you hear that? That came from my throat. No one's thinking about what you're doing. I promise you're thinking about what you're doing more than anyone else, which is good. You should be thinking about what you're doing. You should be conscious of what you're saying, what you're doing, your emotions, and all that. But you need to understand that people are overthinking just as much as you are. Like, seriously. Like, probably way more than you are. And I don't know. I'm kind of out of things to talk about. Not gonna lie. You deserve more than what you're giving yourself, and I promise you that. Even if you feel like you're treating yourself super well, you deserve more. Because, it's kind of crazy to think about, because if you go back to basic animals, like frogs, they're not depressed, they don't have anxiety, they're not worried about the inflation of the freaking, what is it called? Stock market? No, not stock market. Economy. And so many humans are depressed and have anxiety and are taking medication just to try and not to kill themselves. And it's crazy because you think someone would be trying to fix that, but no one is. So you need to start the change by starting with yourself. Oh, there's another thing from the book. It's private victories versus public victories. A private victory is like going for a run. You did a little run. And a private victory is like finishing a book because you're dyslexic, or writing in your journal, or overcoming your fear. And then public victories are like scoring a touchdown during the football game and like acing your test. But you need to complete those private ones, like knowing you're smart and knowing you're capable before you're able to do the public ones. And I think that's what I'm going to end this with. I think that's all I have to talk about. So thank you for listening to me ramble for so long and like just talk at you, because I would have loved to have a conversation with you, but that's obviously not an option because you're not here. It's a little bit sad. But thank you for letting me ramble, and I hope this helps one person. And I know I'm just 17 and I'm not know what I'm talking about, but I thought it'd be nice to hear someone talk to you kind of aggressively, to be honest. But I will link the Instagram and the YouTube for Untamed Girls, and then I'll also link my privates down below in case you want to see more of me and more of this. And I would love your support, and I would love if you even gave me a negative comment and told me how I could fix something. So thank you for watching for like 42 minutes now. I love you, and I truly do. Like, I truly love every single person who's watched this, even if you're just hating on me. I still love you.